Hi, welcome. My name is Allie. This is a quick video on exercises with a small ball. Any similar size ball would work. Remember, every movement practice is an exploration, so if anything doesn't work for you, feel free to just ditch it and move on. One of my favorite ways to start with this ball is to place it at the back of the rib cage. Not too low on the rib cage, not too high, right somewhere in between those shoulder blades. If you're wearing a bra, about bra line. Play around with what works in your body. Keeping the chin tucked. I like to take a fist, put it right under my chin, and that's what I'm aiming for. With this fist, I can keep the back of my neck really long, and I'm not over relying on my neck muscles. However, they are working. That is normal to feel them. If this is too much, you just take the ball out, you lay your head back down. Otherwise, you're bringing your hands, making a hammock for your head. Your hands are pressing into your head, and your head is pressing into your hands. Again, your hands are pressing into your head, and your head is pressing into your hands. This is creating great tension to support the lift of the head. Taking a few breaths to already prioritize feeling the ab connection. I want to talk about the pelvis really quickly, finding your version of neutral. You can arch the low back a little bit, the low back lifts, and then find neutral, and then tuck a little bit. Notice how it's getting shorter between my hip bone and the bottom of the rib cage. We want to keep that really long, so lengthening. So as I move through, okay, I'm lengthened here, but my hip bones are starting to point forward. Ideally, I want my hip bones somewhat pointed towards the ceiling. Really heavy in that sacrum. Right now I put my hands under my butt to feel the sacrum. That's really where the heaviness and then the length. Now all that, you can poke your fingers, make sure your exhale is doing its thing. It's about to do its thing, the abs a lot more. And if you can, make your feet really light. Notice how my feet are lifting and lowering, and then I'm going to find a place where my feet, they're on the ground, but they're light. The feet, that's activating my abs. If that's too much for you today, just ignore it, leave your feet. Hands behind the head. Inhale, you start to lengthen the spine back, the abs pull in. Exhale, abs pull in first, head floats up second. It's all about, there's a big subtlety to this, so try not to overextend or crank on the neck, right? This is neck leading with my head. I do feel something here. I want, though, to let this be the powerhouse. Let my trunk, torso be what takes me up. Do a few of these. And then I let students or myself, whoever's practicing, go back further. Go back further, get stretched, and then come up halfway to a straight line. Straight-ish. Inhale, go back. The spine's never straight. That's not the goal. That's why I say straight-ish. Exhale. These muscles in the abdominals are coarsening together, checking in, keeping that pelvis in neutral. I'm just warming up. I'm letting the ribs even flare just a little bit so I can feel the hug in. And then go a few full range. So go back as far as you're comfortable and coming up as far as you can. Remember to lengthen the spine as you come up. I'm thinking longer. I'm not trying to crunch up here. Ooh. I feel that too, though. So it's not like I'm worried about it dangerous. 2 more. It's that lengthening gives such an effective brace through the whole core musculature, and it's endurance. We want to continue throughout every movement practice to be aware of the position of the pelvis, the position of the rib cage, and the relationship. And those are breathing crunches. Amazing. Do those every day. Super reasonable. The next one's lying on the side. The arm can be straight, the arm can be out, you can make a pillow, you could get a pillow, whatever works best for your body. Again, like before, I'm looking for maximum length between the hip bone and the rib cage. Lengthening, breathing into the back of the rib cage. That's usually we get tight. There's muscles in between every bone in the rib cage. My knees are forward. The ball is in between the thighs. Just hanging out here can be a great way to release some tension in the pelvis and the hips. Amazing. Remember, your head can be laying down if it doesn't work to prop your head up. Do what works best for you. The hips, creating the action. Take your hand to that top hip. Pushing that hip. The top leg glides over the bottom leg. Notice how the thighs are still parallel, and then pull it back. Pull that hip back. It's this top hip shifting forward over the bottom hip and pulling back. I've noticed with students, almost everyone wants to go up, down. Again, like this is not terrible at all, like fine. It is just more our automatic movement pattern. With this intentional movement practice, disrupting our first movement pattern can be super beneficial. Just teaching our body that, oh, there's more than one way to move, right? That pelvis, it doesn't have a huge range, but there is some range. When we explore, that range gets deeper. Option 2 here with the ball here. I'm sure there's 10 options or more, but these are the 2 I'll give. Internal rotation. This thigh bone, again, your hand can be at the thigh. The thigh rotates in. The foot's lifting as a result. The action is not coming from the foot lifting. It's coming from the hip rotating. They're working together though. Everything's connected. So I'm thinking about really initiating from the thigh pelvis connection. I'll do about 5 of those. Also a great place to teach clients or students how to straighten the leg using the quad and the resistance at the back of the leg. So I'm thinking about engaging the front of the thigh to bring the leg forward and then pressing the back of the thigh away. If you have a really keen eye, you probably notice my trunk getting longer because of that push-pull, tension. We're looking for tension in our practice. The appropriate amount of tension. My bad. Okay. Now that we're here on our side body, all those exercises, great. Probably you can think of many more things to do from that position. Another option I like is to bring the ball under the rib cage. All of this can be done without the ball as well. The ball is a great way though to open up and give yourself feedback to breathe into the rib cage. Expand like your ribs are pressing into the ball. Option 1, both legs bent. Starting here, I'm going to layer in some other options. Take that leg, float it up, hip height, legs parallel. taking this top thigh, trying to keep the pelvis sturdy. If you want a hand on the hip, great. Hand on the sacrum, great. Trying not to move the pelvis as the leg moves up and down, right? That movement pattern that we talked about, that is so natural for us, now is more challenging when we're looking to keep the trunk stable. If things are going well, you have the option to straighten the bottom leg, option to straighten the top leg. Same action. Leg goes forward and back. You can play with all sorts of ankle work too. I'm keeping the foot flexed here, keeping it as simple as I can for now. Just knowing you can embellish. Excellent. Line up your thighs. Again, coming back to bent knees, the legs could stay straight the whole time. That is just more challenging to the stability of the trunk. Lifting the leg up. I am pressing into the leg on the mat and lifting, trying to engage the butt muscles. Slowly lowering, pretending like this leg is too heavy to lift. That's how I really can help my body to activate from the butt and not whip up from the foot, right? A lot of us, myself included, love to lead from the lower limbs, and really more of the power comes from leading to the musculature closer to the trunk and the spine. So the same option with straight legs would be pointing the foot up. Again, you can play with all sorts of ankle choreography, just keeping it pointed for now, really lengthening the trunk. So I'm trying to really keep that space between the bottom of the rib cage and the hip. Keeping that space. About 2 more. And bending the knees back for circles. Again, you could do this with double straight legs. Focusing right on the pelvis. Trying to create the movement from the pelvis. And my butt's on fire. Reverse it because of how intentional the movement really is. Creating that tension. 3, 2, 1. Remembering you can do it with straight legs. Next part, working the inner thigh of the bottom leg. The top leg can go in front, the bottom leg can extend, keeping the hips stacked. You may need a block under this thigh or something to elevate this leg. Option 2, you could grab the outside of the heel. This may work for you, try it out. This may not work for you. And going back to option 1. Taking the bottom leg, inner thigh, muscles closest to the pelvis fire first, float it up. Really thinking about growing longer through that leg, lifting and growing longer through your trunk. That space in between the bottom of the rib cage and the pelvis, and little circles on that bottom leg. For 3, 2, and reverse it. I'm doing about sets of 5, give or take, just to try and move the video along. You could stay, play for longer, do more, it's up to you. While we're here, I'm gonna do one more side ab series. I like to introduce it in 3 options. Option 1, bringing the top elbow and the top knee together. Really just bringing the knee though, because I'm trying to keep space between the hip and the rib. Pulling it in. For more of a stability challenge, you can float up that bottom leg by reaching it out, reaching it. More stability from reaching and lengthening. The bottom leg reaching. And the final option, I like to take the ball out for this one and extend the arm in line with the shoulder. Legs hugged together, keeping that space. Even as I crunch in, I'm trying to keep the trunk long. And the legs can reach back out and pulling in. Notice I don't move my head too much. I like my head to be stabilizing. Hand pressing into the head pressing into the hand. 2. And let's do the other side. I don't necessarily intend this video to be a work along, like workout along, but you certainly can. I'm getting a workout. Take all the time you need. Setup is, in my opinion, more important than the movement, because if you're setting up and the hips are not lined up and the shoulders are not lined up and the head is not in a comfortable position for your body, the movement may not be as productive. Looking for maximum productivity here. Thighs stay parallel. Take that hand to that top hip. Push that top thigh forward and back. That top thigh is gliding over the bottom leg. The bottom leg is staying still. And taking the top leg into internal rotation. The thigh bone is rotating in the pelvis. And just noticing if this side feels different. No need to change. I like to just notice. It's all feedback. It's all an experience, an exploration. And then straightening out the leg, using the front of the thigh, reaching the back of the thigh away to really fix the thigh into space. And taking the ball, bringing it under the rib cage, noticing if this side of the rib cage is tighter, bringing the leg forward, bringing the leg back, keeping the hip bones squared, and keeping length from the pelvis to the rib cage. Again, the option would be straight leg. 3, 2, 1. And double bent legs, circles. Remember, you could keep the legs straight. It really just depends on how you feel today. Every day is different. Who you're working with. It may be more appropriate to have bent legs if you're working with someone who has a hard time feeling their butt muscles, so they don't have to focus on all the extra work that goes into keeping the legs straight and focus just on the butt muscles. Pulling the leg up, down, setting that leg down for inner thigh work. Reaching out the bottom leg. Remember, the other option would be taking your hand to the outside of the ankle, getting a stretch on that upper glute, making a choice, lowering and lifting that bottom leg. Probably, if the background noise is too much, going to be redoing this. 2 little circles. For 3, 2, and reversing. Keeping that length between the hip and the rib cage. 1, and lowering. Extending both legs out. Some side crunch variations. Option 1. Option 2, to float that bottom leg, really reaching. You could also spend time teaching how to lift the legs. You could lift them 1, lift the second leg, lower, lift 1, lift the second leg, lift both legs. There's so many little variations again to play with, and it helps to watch whoever's in front of you, right? If they're not understanding where you might want them to be, keep going back until the movement is really clear and simple, and just doing tiny little things can be extremely challenging and rewarding for the body and the mind. Not everything has to be so big, in my opinion, although I love a trick, so no hate to the crazy stuff, because that's why I work the technique so hard, is to trick out. So keeping that space between the rib cage and the pelvis. Not even doing this the way I did on the other way, which there's multiple ways to do it. This is going to be a lot more stable. The way I was doing it is an option. 2 more. Awesome. And meeting on the stomach. Another great tool is to have the ball on your chest if you can tolerate, right? I look for making sure things are comfortable, or the top of the rib cage. This is really on a case-by-case basis. I would say it's not that I feel like it's dangerous, but for someone who's really uncomfortable having a ball on their rib cage, just ditch it. You can do this just on your forearms. It actually helps take some of the pressure off, so I can like really push. My elbows are coming up, I want to keep them down, but that would be real close to impossible. Like, this is so much more weight. This is really helping take some of that weight off. Now you're in Sphinx. You can do neck work, chin to chest. Let all that go. Just felt my jaw crack, all the muscles in the face, neck, and jaw release. You can work on some abs pulling in here, keeping the hips grounded, using your breath to pull up the abs away from the floor. I'm making sure my pelvis is gently tucking to engage the butt. I hesitate to say tucking because it's definitely not like an over tucking where I'm like condensing, but there's a little tuck. This is me relaxing. This is me gently tucking and lengthening and lifting the abs. And it just makes a big difference. So you can play with this. You can play with swimming here, swimming arms, long neck. You can play with swimming legs, little flutter kicks. Tons of different options. Same thing with the pelvis. If someone can tolerate being on the pelvis, make a pillow for the hands. Frogs here. Let that pelvis be really heavy. Getting really long through the torso. Could do it with legs apart. That feels good. That's why I like the ball, because I think it feels good. So if something's really not feeling good, just have an open dialogue if you can with students. Students usually know, or you can see them grimacing in their face, and then either change it on the spot or ditch it. Next one, we're sitting up. In Pilates, we call this the half rollback. The feet can be planted. If the hips are tight, walk the feet further. Hips still tight, flex the feet, try out a position. You can go wider, play around. My best advice to anyone would be play around in your body. Be free to explore when you're being controlled, when you're concentrating. It's so much harder to hurt yourself than when you're just flying. Arms could be genie, arms can be forward, arms can be under the thigh, supportive. The goal here is to really isolate using the abdominals, so pulling the lower abs in and up, going backwards, Feeling lift and lengthen through each segment of the spine and pulling forward through the low abs. The spine is in a very lifted capital C. So the lower segments of the spine lengthening up. The middle segments, the rib cage lengthening up. Chin, you can always put your hand under, check your pedestal. The only pedestal we belong on is our own, and keep it there. This ball really helps give me feedback to pull in and up through the abdominals. Make sure those shoulders haven't creeped up by the ears, they're hanging down and wide. Excellent. Meeting. You like how I validate myself? Excellent work. I can't help it. Going slowly. I think I'll show one more, and then if I have other ideas, I'll make a second video. The ball under the sacrum. Again, so many things we can play with, including just relaxing here. Such a great place to come back to working on neutral, right? So arching and tucking. And this is a great thing to do any day, anytime. It can be really helpful even if your back was in spasm, if you're moving extremely gradually. Less can be more in exploration too, making movements smaller and smaller and focusing on the feeling rather than accomplishing an external goal can be extremely helpful for the body. So finding that ab corset 360 degrees around the trunk, good. You can always poke it, make sure the tension's there. There's a subtlety too, right? It's not a gripping. Some of the times if we're really gripping inner pelvic floor and our hip, that actually we might want to relax into. So let the pelvic floor muscles relax. So already I just felt my abs engaged so much deeper by relaxing the muscles, the hip flexors. They're all working together though, so if you feel it where you feel it. And a great place to balance here. Balancing here is hard. I like working with students, pressing their arms down, pressing their shoulders back, look side to side, find the center of the spot. Tabletop, a great place for exploration. Exploring, can you keep the pelvis heavy and pull the knees in? Good, check. Keeping length from the ribs to the hips. Knees back over hips, harder. Breathe. Knees out in front of the hips, way harder. Breathe, pull in those abs. Doing this a few times, like one breath with the knees in. Spine really long, knees over hips. Get ready, pull in those abs without letting the pelvis, my pelvis wants to flip up. I'm maintaining the heaviness in the sacrum. Perfection. Also right here, right legs, arms. What are we in? It is perfect dead bug. Option to do dead bug. It's hard to balance on this. So making sure it's a great challenge to add balance. Making sure someone can already do these exercises without the ball, I would say. Do the exercise without the ball first. In Pilates, we have single leg stretch, so you pull one leg in, reach the other way, the other leg out, push, pull. Push, pull. That leg that's lengthening is not just dropping, it's reaching, reaching, reaching. And here you could add a challenge by lifting your chin to your chest. Pedestal, keeping the neck long. If that doesn't work for you, lower your head back down. Option 2, double leg stretch. Same thing, the head can be down, legs go out forward, arms go high back. Hugging into your tightest ball, keeping your torso really long. This is a challenge. Double straight legs. You can always keep as much of a bend as you need as you pull, and switch, holding above or below the knee. Really lengthening your trunk, lengthening your spine. Noticing my pelvis is trying to creep up. I'm lengthening it, keeping the low back heavy. Legs together for a lower lift. Same option, the head can be down. The head never has to be up if you're not ready for it. Lower, lower, lower. Lift, lift, lift. Keeping the inner thighs gluing together, really reaching the thighs, pulling the abs in. If I go too low on this one, I'll show you. The abs are gonna dome up. That's doming. Not the most productive. Much more productive. You can always reset. If you dome, bend the knees, refine the connection. Again, it's not that doming makes me fearful. It just lets me know those deep layers, the transverse, they have let go. And last one here, some crisscross, which is very similar, crossing opposite elbow to knee. You could keep both knees bent too. Keep that trunk long. Or again, you can add in lowering that opposite leg. Just more choreography, a little more challenge on those abs. Woo, shaking. 3, 2, 1. You're also right in a dead bug. Woo, that's really hard. Keeping that pelvis balanced. So many things to be done. You could put the ball in between your thighs, go into a bunch of bridging. Really, this ball can serve as feedback anywhere. Just like any apparatus. Be somewhat conscientious of where you're at or your student, right? Some days it's more appropriate to challenge the body. Great, love a challenge. Other times it's more appropriate to just explore the body, to listen, develop a relationship with your nervous system. And thank you for watching and coming along with me. Sorry if you can hear the leaf blowers in this fall season. Hopefully it's not too loud, and I'm happy to do more. If there's any apparatus that you notice that I have and you'd like a video on, feel free. I love questions, but 7 to 10 business days to get a response. I am part of letting go of this digital chains, right? I love the internet. I love that we can all stay connected. And I think for myself, and I don't know if others can relate, I need that level of like spaciousness in my own existence, that I am not going to have digital deadlines. It's a personal choice. Thank you for respecting that. I appreciate anyone who does want to come along on this journey, and I appreciate any questions, feedback. Thanks for watching. I'm Allie, and this is the ball.